So 2 years ago, I moved here to Birmingham City University to study. And one thing that really stuck out to me, what I didn't realise before I came, was how big the drug culture is here. Everybody's in the game of like buying, selling, doing all of it. And it's like, it's so huge here. And something that really intrigues me since I've been here is the stories of these people, their experiences, whether positive or negative, how it's affected them and why they've been in it as well, what's led them to this point, or to the point at which the way they did take it. So that's something that I'm going to be finding out here in Birmingham.
It was such a surreal experience.
I didn't know what to do in my life.
Yeah, I've been ketamine, like cocaine, ecstasy, and of course weed.
First time being high, it kind of hit me like a train.
People are going to take drugs whether it's legal or not.
They shouldn't be treated as criminals only because they're smart.
First up, I spoke with Oscar, who shared with me his experience of drugs. So Oscar, what's been a good experience for you that you can recall when you took weed?
Well, with my friends, we smoked some weed, went to the beach, and that helps you to forget about the stress and planning next move in life.
And have you had a negative experience?
Anxiety, panic attacks. I thought I was dying. I thought there's something wrong. I thought I got illness, I thought I was going to have heart attack, stroke and stuff like that. But I realised it's all in my head, I can control it.
And did that make you think that you should stop doing weed?
Yeah, it made me stop for a year.
It did?
Yeah.
So for a year and then you carried on doing it?
Yeah, because I didn't want to give up on smoking.
So it's been a while since we spoke to Oscar, but I still want to know more. And so one thing I'm going to be doing is meeting up with another person who's agreed to meet me and share their experience with me of taking drugs. So I'm about to go meet him now. Hello.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, I'm Sandeep.
Right, nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for agreeing to meet with me. So, what's been your experience of drugs?
Well, first at drugs when I started uni, to be fair, because they're easy to access. And because I turned 18, I used to go down to Digbeth in Birmingham, and it's quite a scene down there for it, in the underground music.
Yeah. So, it was when you started uni that you really got into it?
Yeah, and also I had family problems, like my parents splitting up as well.
Yeah.
And like all that, so it was kind of like an escape route.
Yeah. So do you think that weed was a gateway for you then?
Yeah, I think it was an easy way to go. At first when I was at school I was anti-drug, but now like I've taken it, and the first time I've taken it was a good experience.
Yeah.
But once a bad experience happens, I'll probably cut it on the head.
Have you had any bad experiences? What would you say those are like for you?
Well, I've hallucinated off laughing gas, NOS. I was like falling through the cracks for the floor, and it was kind of like you're feeling at the end of your life.
Wow, see you again soon. So, ironically, we've just come across two people smoking behind in the corner. Don't know what they're taking, but they're taking some sort of substance. And this is the second time this has happened while we've been shooting on location. So it just shows how much of the drug culture is actually, it's so big here. Like, turn around a corner, there's two people who just pop up who are taking something. It's a big thing in Birmingham. And this has happened twice to us now. It's purely coincidental, or is it that there is a bigger problem here? So I'm here on the Birmingham Canals about to meet with Taylor Garner, who's our psychological expert. I'm really keen to find out her opinions on drugs because we've been hearing a lot of experiences so far, and so I'm really keen to find out the professional side of things. So let's go and meet her. Hi, are you Taylor? Yeah, I am. Oh, it's good to meet you, Taylor. Thank you for meeting me. So you are an expert in psychology, so can you tell us a bit about the psychology behind drugs and the addiction side of it for us?
Yeah, I mean, people get hooked on them really, really easily. So you have a reward pathway in your brain which emits a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which basically makes you happy. So naturally that would be things like food and having sex. But when people take drugs like weed or cocaine or anything like cigarettes or anything, you get an artificial rush of dopamine.
What would you say are the main negative and positive effects of drugs?
With weed particularly, obviously it makes people relaxed and feel good and everything. But when you're taking it every day and you're always like that, and even if you stop taking it, it's almost to a point where you're too in your own world, and it has known that people break relationships because they're just not putting enough time and effort into other people.
It's really opening my eyes to the realities of how big this culture is and the effects it has on people and why they've done what they've done.
My first experience taking drugs was probably when I was about 16. I only smoked very occasionally, like once every few months, if that.
What have the negative effects been of weed? Can you recall any of those?
And whenever I smoke weed, I'm just not productive at all. Well, at least I get to sleep easier,
What were the positive effects of weed on you?
If I didn't have weed, I'd probably be very tightly wound, very not nice to be around, I don't think.
Do you think it's really easy and accessible to get drugs here?
Mate, it's so easy to get drugs in Birmingham. Like, if you want now, I'll sort out a drawer and it'll be here in like 10 or 15 minutes. It's really easy to get drugs in Birmingham, maybe too easy.
So after talking to Joshua, I feel really shocked at what he's shared with me. And you can see that he's really dependent on weed. And one thing that stood out from what he said though was about the ease and accessibility of getting drugs in Birmingham. And so I put that to the test and I made some calls and I'm about to meet a drug dealer. I've arranged this, I'm about to meet them in about 10 minutes and I am nervous. I've not done anything like this before. This is like out of my comfort zone 100%. But you know, I thought, let's give it a go and prove what he said. And so I'm about to go meet this drug dealer now.
Have to fight it 'cause I won't go back. I'd rather see the whole world go back to black.
So you hang back here because it's obviously not going to be comfortable with a camera. So I'm just going to go now. So scary. I can't believe I just did that, but I've got it here. That felt weird. That felt so wrong, that did. It felt wrong. Like, the amount of people that are just getting drugs like that easy, and if it's that easy to get, then surely it's encouraging people to do it more. That's just crazy. Would you encourage people to smoke weed, or would you discourage them from it?
I'll ask them to learn about it more, because I think there's other misconceptions about smoke and drugs in general.
People are going to take drugs whether it's legal or not. So the best way to go about it is to legalise it in a safe way so everyone can actually use it properly.
Have you found that doing weed has kind of encouraged you to do more different drugs or try like a higher dosage of drugs or anything like that?
Yes, but that's not because of weed itself, that's because weed is categorized as a drug. I know lots of people who drink alcohol, and for me, alcohol is the drug itself. If you take the weed out of that drug context, people wouldn't try other ones.
So I don't personally agree with the use of drugs, but I have discovered that there's a time and a place in certain circumstances. And what I do think as well is that the issue isn't with weed or alcohol, as Oscar's mentioned, but it actually goes much more deeper and it's centred around the person, and that's what the focus should be on.